Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Sondico Touch. Now, as you can see, it comes in a fairly unusual box. It even has the shoe pictured on the outside, but I'll open it up here on one side. It's actually a drawer-style box, so I'll pull that down, open these up, and you can pull out the interior box, which has two separated compartments with the shoes themselves. Keep in mind that the firm ground version does not come with any extras. So let me get this box out of the way really quickly. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the Sondico Touch, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have some questions about this shoe. One being about the brand. Who is Sondico? What is this brand? I've never heard of them. And honestly, I'm not too familiar with their history as a soccer brand. I've been familiar with them for a little while. Mainly with their goalkeeper gloves. I've seen them here and there online, but I never knew they were making soccer shoes. I'm not sure if this is their first shoe or this is a long line continuing of shoes and this is just their latest models. But nonetheless, they asked me to do a review of their product, and I have to say I was skeptical at first, but when I read the tech specs and the types of materials they were using, I was pretty optimistic about the shoe, and honestly, based on first impressions, I think they look pretty good. The quality is definitely there, and for the price that they're available at, $95 US, you really can't go wrong. They were also extra nice and sent me out the soft ground variation of the shoe as well, which comes in kind of a reverse flip-flop color. So the firm ground version is available in this front half black, back half green, whereas the soft ground version, which is what I have here, is available in, like I said, the reverse of that. So front half lime green, back half black. Both of them look pretty good in my opinion, and the overall styling of the shoe reminds me a lot of the original CTR 360 Maestri 1 from Nike, with this kind of wave separation, and you have that kind of color blocking design here. But nonetheless, for $95 US, you can have either of these two variations, and there will be a link in the description of this video if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself. Like I said, for that price, you really can't ask for much more in terms of overall quality. The only shoe that even comes close, I would say, is going to be the Nike Premier, which also features a kangaroo leather upper, but that is at the $100 price point. So we're talking about $5 here. But also keep in mind that the link in the description is to a UK-based retailer, which at this point in time is the only place that carries these guys. So if you're in the UK, great, you're going to get these very cheap, because the shipping is going to be cheap. But if you're buying from North America, expect us to pay around $20 to $30 in shipping, which isn't too big of a deal. They're still really affordable shoes. And if you're looking to be different, again, for $95, this appears to be a pretty good shoe. I don't want to say too many good things about it without actually having worn it. But again, the quality is there, and for the price, I was expecting much less, I should say. Also wanted to just touch on the soft ground variation in terms of extras. They do, of course, include a stud wrench, and you also get one extra short stud and one extra long stud, just as extras in case you lose something, which is always nice to get, but more or less expected when it comes to soft ground shoes. So in terms of the upper itself, the front half on this particular colorway, which is all black in color, is made from kangaroo leather. This does not include the tongue though. The tongue is made from a synthetic material, but more on that later. And the kangaroo leather for the most part feels nice and soft. It's a good thickness, kind of reminds me a little bit of the Copa Mundial, and regardless of whether you get the black ones or the green ones, the quality of the leather feels absolutely the same. One thing that is unique here is there's very minimal stitching on the upper, as you can see. You just have this kind of wavy stitch here going across the middle, and they've actually embossed the leather upper as well. It's not just stitched in. You can see that they've actually pressed it, and there's kind of an indent in the leather itself. Not sure why that is, not sure what that process is like. It's kind of unique to see on a pair of soccer cleats, but for the most part, like I said, the quality of the leather feels great. It's soft, it's flexible, and I'm sure will provide a really high quality touch on the ball. Like I mentioned, the tongue itself is made from a thin synthetic material, and it has a memory foam strip on the inside, but it's an incredibly soft, spongy memory foam, and it runs from basically here to here, which should provide a nice touch on the ball and also provide some really good comfort when you pull the laces tight. This Sondico branding in the form of this white kind of S pattern, I guess it would be an S if you hold it like this. It's kind of an S, but it's made from a synthetic material, so that's going to be kind of your mid-foot stability system. It's not going to allow the shoe to overstretch or anything like that. And the back half of the shoe, the outside material definitely is leather, but it's kind of backed by thicker foams and plastic material. So in terms of the touch that it's going to provide, it's more or less irrelevant, just because you're not going to be using that part of the foot to control the ball anyways. But it looks good nonetheless, and it's nice to see what appears to be a full leather upper soccer shoe. Central lacing system, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. And in terms of the cut and the heel, you can see there is some extra bulk, so there is an internal plastic heel counter that feels very, very solid. So in terms of overall protection, I would say that these are going to be pretty good. And then the heel liner, as you can see, is like a smooth synthetic leather on the inside with what appears to be a suede liner on the back of the heel, which is always great. It provides some really nice comfort out of the box, and also does a good job of gripping the sock and holding your foot inside the shoe with not allowing it to slip or anything like that. In terms of the insole, it is fully removable. It's got a kind of synthetic leather liner on top. It's fused, and it even has this kind of texturing with their Sondico logo throughout, which I thought was pretty cool. It's made from a relatively thin black foam material, and you're going to have a pour-on insert in the heel, and then a very, very soft spongy foam material in the forefoot area. So again, in terms of overall step and comfort, this is what I consider to be a very, very good insole. Moving on to the outsole, this is where you have some kind of unique design elements that are somewhat copied from Adidas to a certain extent, because as you guys can see, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this triangular stud pattern. We've seen it on the Adizero, we've seen it on the Nitro Charge, we've seen it on the Predator LZ. So it isn't too surprising to see this. A lot of these smaller brands tend to not necessarily completely copy, but they tend to share ideas with some of the bigger brands, and there's nothing wrong with that to a certain extent. You can see that they took some of that kind of influence from the Nike Mercurial line with this little texturing here at the tip of the toe, and it's the exact same pattern as you guys can see. But again, I don't have really any issues with that. In terms of the sole plate itself, it's made from a standard TPU plastic, and it's thin in certain areas and thicker in other areas, so it's got flexibility in the areas that needs it, and it's nice and stable through the midfoot. There's kind of this little graphic going on here. It really doesn't do anything in terms of performance. It's just there simply for looks. And as you can see, the upper is riveted to the sole plate at both the tip of the toe and the back of the heel. So sole separation really isn't a concern for me with this particular shoe. That's the firm ground variation. Here's the soft ground variation. Again, pretty much just like what we see from Adidas. You have your kind of a mixed sole variation with 4 metal studs in the forefoot, 2 in the heel, and your plastic ones in between to support the rest of the sole plate. So in terms of the firm ground variation, because I'm sure that's what you guys are most concerned about, again, you have all triangular studs here in the forefoot, and then if you want to kind of completely say that they're copying Adidas, they're not completely copying, because the heel studs are a little bit different. They're not standard triangles. It's a slightly different, more bladed style triangle stud, which to me looks really good, and I'm actually curious to see how this stud pattern is going to perform. And in comparison, this does appear to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of the length of the studs. They seem a little bit longer than what you're going to find on a pair of Predator LZs or something like that. And as far as the soft ground variation is concerned, if you're playing on soft ground, they all perform very, very similarly, and I'm sure that these will perform just as well, just because you have your metal studs at the proper length and they're positioned well. So again, traction on soft natural grass should not be an issue with this variation, depending on what your needs are and what type of playing surface you're playing on. So that's pretty much it as far as all the tech specs are concerned and what you need to know about the shoe. And to move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, the Sondico Touch is what I would consider to be average, not too light, not too heavy. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 10.1 ounces. So right at that 10 ounce mark, in comparison to something like the Nike Tiempo Legend 5, there is an extra ounce or two of weight, but for the most part the construction of the shoe is a lot more traditional in my opinion. There's a lot more bulk to the upper as a whole, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It really depends on your preferences, but again, if you're looking for a more traditionally styled soccer shoe with a kangaroo leather upper, 10 ounces is not an outrageous amount of weight to have on your feet, and it certainly isn't going to slow you down. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video is concerned, and move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the shoes on feet, and from right out of the box, these are actually very comfortable. What's great about kangaroo leather is you know what you're getting every single time, and what you get is a soft, flexible upper that moves naturally with your foot, softens up over time, and give it a couple hours of wear time, and you'll find they stretch and form to the exact shape of your foot. So in terms of overall comfort, I have no issues with the Sondico Touch whatsoever. In terms of overall width, I would definitely say that this is a wider fitting shoe. So if you have wide feet, this is probably going to be a pretty good option for you. There's a decent amount of width pretty much all the way through the midfoot, forefoot, and toe box. And considering the forefoot and toe box area is made from natural soft kangaroo leather, it will, like I said, stretch over time Just give it a couple hours to break in, and they'll feel very, very comfortable for you, I'm sure. In terms of sizing, these run half a size small. Sondico sent me both a 9 and a 9.5 US, and the 9.5 US is really the only pair that I could actually get on my feet. You can see I'm wearing the 9.5 right here. My toes are right at the end, so for the most part, if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up for the proper fit. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Sondico Touch. Overall, for the $95 price tag they're asking for these guys, it's pretty good. The quality of materials is great, it's built well, it shares some design cues from Adidas, which is never a bad thing. And for the most part, considering that this is available at a fairly low price, I don't see anything wrong with picking up a pair of these if you are on a bit of budget and still want something made from high quality kangaroo leather. Again, if you're interested in picking up a pair, there will be a buy it now link in the description for both the firm ground as well as the soft ground variations, depending on what you're interested in. And even if you want a takedown model that features a calfskin leather upper, that's available as well for even less, and I'll leave a link in the description to that as well. As far as the full written review is concerned, that will be coming hopefully in the next month or so when I get some time to test these out. Right now I got a lot of stuff kind of in the queue as far as reviews are concerned, so these are not necessarily priority, but they will be coming very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime though, if you want to check out the review page on my website, you can find the high quality images that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. If you have any questions regarding the shoe at all, be sure to leave those down below in the comments. I definitely will get an answer out to you. And also let me know down below in the comments if you guys want to see more of these kind of unusual off brands that you don't see every day. Again, your suggestions are always appreciated, as I like to base my content on what you guys want to see. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.